How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. More drama with the Cincinnati Bengals with their contract potential signees. Now we're talking Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson posted a social media picture of him going to Florida. Coming up right with training camp starting. Obviously, we know he's in negotiations, and of course, this is getting blown up. And I gotta say, there's a couple things to really keep in mind on this one. First of all, it's the offseason. Every single offseason, the littlest things get blown up. There gets to be wind behind it, and all of a sudden, yes, it's the end of the world. You know, I love or hate Aaron Rodgers. We've seen him talk about it on a Pat McAfee show before. He's like, I don't want to sign this contract now, and I want to do this because then all of a sudden, I had plans in the summer. I had plans to go do this at this time of the year, and now that I'm signing and I went and had those plans still, now all of a sudden I'm a terrible teammate because I'm not at the voluntary training camp or whatever, and it gets blown out of proportion. Heck, Joe Burrow did the fashion show? That was last year, right? And that guy put in the storylines like, oh, Joe Burrow is more worried about doing this than he is his team, right? So that's the thing about, these social media posts we have to be careful of. And the thing was, if he doesn't post that and somebody takes a picture of him, they catch him at an airport in Florida, it's going to look even worse and people are going to still criticize him. So to me, grain of salt. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. You want to go even deeper, he's from Florida. Pretty good chance he's got family in Florida. There's a pretty good chance he could be saying, hey, season's coming up. The deal's not done. The crazy thing about the world, I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. They got like the big wings on them. Go really fast in the air. Can get you from Florida to Cincinnati in like 2 hours. So it doesn't matter. It does not matter where he's at. His agent can call him right now. Hello, Trey. Bengals are going back. Going to give you a little bit more guarantees. Want to sign a deal? Trey, absolutely, I'll be there tonight. But for that reason, it really doesn't matter where he's at all. So just things to keep in mind. And honestly, I'm about as optimistic as ever that Trey Hendrickson signing with this team. It was Diana Rossini posted an article on The Athletic talking to the Bengals, and of course, you know how the articles can be as far as the headlines are. It look kind of bad. Like, oh, Trey Hendrickson says he wants to. It looked like. By the headlines, Trey Hendrickson saying, hey, I'm demanding to be this team captain. The guarantees aren't where I want them to be, da-da-da-da-da. But if you read the full quote, and just knowing who Trey Hendrickson is, we have to remember, as Bengals fans, we know this man as, he's a very emotional player. If you watch his past interviews, you can tell he's a very lovable guy. I don't know how else to put it, because you just get the sense that he's a genuinely... a nice guy, heavy-hearted, wants the best for people. But if you also watch those interviews, they're kind of, I don't know if you want to call him cute, like an innocent cuteness where you can tell he's not the best with his words, but he has the best intentions. So it's like, you got to keep that in mind. I know we're in the heart of a negotiation, so anything that doesn't sound the best or look the best gets blown up. You have to keep that in mind. We know who Trey Hendrickson is. And there's a good chance when he comes out and says something like that, where he's like, hey, I want to be a team captain, it can come off wrong, but he's got fully good intentions. And in that to me is the case in this one, because again, if you go down to full quote, he's pretty much saying, hey, I expressed to the Bengals how I want to be a team captain, how I want to be a mentor, how I want to pass the torch down to these younger guys like the Shamar Stewarts of the world, kind of like Cam Jordan did for him in New Orleans. And to me, if you really, you look into that, of course, we all know team captains voted on typically by your players. And more importantly, it just seems like a statement to him saying, hey, this is what I want to be for your organization. Not saying I'm demanding this. Doesn't say he's demanding it at all. He's more saying, hey, I want to be in Cincinnati. I'd like to sign a longer term deal. And not only do I want to be here and provide and do the best I can to help this team win games individually, but I don't know if you know or not, but I'm pretty good at hitting the quarterback last season. I'd like to teach these younger guys and show these younger guys everything I know in this game and try to be that mentor, try to be that leader. Now, that is exactly. If I was to sign a 30-year-old player today, that is exactly what I'm looking for. That's an A+. If anything, that makes me say, Bengals, sign this guy more. I remember, you see some of these guys and you hear the stories about how some of these guys, they get their veterans up their order. They don't want to teach the young guys anything. They just want to out the door. When you got guys that want to actively pursue those things, you want them on your team. And again, I will say, it kind of surprised me. The Bengals didn't have him as a captain. But, kind of like we brought up with the interviews earlier. I mean, we don't know exactly this guy's personality on the field. Maybe he's just not the most outspoken guy in those regards. And there's nothing wrong with that. One thing we know, I think every Bengals fan probably can connect with if you watch baseball, is Joey Votto. And Joey Votto was a very to himself player for a very, very long time. Kind of a humble, shy guy. Kind of socially awkward. Still kind of was as he got older, but he kind of came out of that shell in his 30s. Became more of that leader, became more of that outspoken guy in the locker room. So there's, those personalities definitely exist in sports, and that just doesn't mean they're terrible people. It just means, hey, maybe not the best guy to vote your team captain. But Trey expressing that interest in wanting to do that. And to me, that's everything I want to hear and more. And the fact that he comes on and says, hey, it's really the guarantees. I got 2 offers in 24 hours, and the guarantees just aren't where I wanted them to be after year one. That tells me the deal's getting done. The deal's getting done. The Bengals have, if correct, Spot Rack saying right now, they're at 31 million cap space this season. If the guaranteed money in the future is a huge deal, you bring a lot of that to this year. You front load it because you're going to help with the salary cap. That is the big concern with the salary cap, the guaranteed money. I get it. He's older. You want to be careful. My number one concern, 2 years down the road, he gets hurt. 3 years down the road. But right now, you got the cap flexibility where you can bring that money forward and then not hurt yourself down the road. If something were to happen, you always have to release him. But, the thing with Trey Hendrickson is I am always concerned about the age. Defensive players decline rapidly. The lifespan in the NFL players, historically, you're just not at your peak, out of your best very long. But the Bengals have nothing, and they did nothing to improve the pass rush. It is Trey Hendrickson, and it is Trey Hendrickson, and it is Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson's production could go down 50%, probably close to 75%. Definitely could go down 50%. And he's still the best pass rusher on this football team. And they did not draft somebody. Tremar Stewart, hopefully turns out, but his 3.5 sacks, they didn't draft somebody to be a predominant pass rusher. He's your man until you find somebody else. We're looking at least 2 years where you can just about lock up, as long as Trey Hendrickson's healthy, he's the best player on this defense as far as rushing the passer. Of course, you can see why, hey, get the guarantees, get the money done, get the deal done. And I get it. It's the length. I think the length is the big thing. That third year is a real concern. We'll see how it plays out. But right now, it feels like if the guarantees are the only concern, this deal is getting done. How quickly it gets done, we'll see. But I got a pretty strong feeling it'll be getting done. Nonetheless, love y'all's thoughts. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.